Hello, welcome back. I'm sorry, I'm a bit late today. And the reason is we are back to making custom homebrew monsters from scratch. But we're going to do some monster lore first. And yes, I've got one for you today, for sure, absolutely. But we will also, straight after this, we'll be going into making our own monster. We're going to do the concept art, we're going to do the lore of the monster, of course, and we're also going to do the stat block. Yes, I said stat block. That's right. I wasn't kidding. I'm quite serious. So my suggestion to you is get your ideas ready to go. Fire up your imagination and grab some dice because we're going to get you to do some dice rolling. Okay, and food, some drink, dice. Get them ready. Get your ideas are flowing, and we're going to build a monster as soon as I've talked about the spirit guardian of winter. Anyway. Let's not dawdle anymore. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about tabletop role-playing games. And today it's all about a monster, the monster lore for a Dungeons and Dragons monster called the seiki. Now that seems strange. What is a seiki? Well, as it happens, I have some information on you. It is a Dungeons & Dragons 5e monster. It is from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica, and the monster itself is quite unique, and it's a guardian of winter. It's sort of like a spirit creature. So the guardian of the hollow is also a creature that it's termed this way, the guardian of the hollow, which the hollow being kind of like the winter landscape, things like that. So a white beast stalks the nearby snowy drifts and the shadows among the trees. Bright eyes radiate a primal glare from the darkness. A guardian of the hollow, also known as the seiki, is the protector of the forest in winter. The seiki is a primal spirit of winter and hibernation. It is the embodiment of nature. The seiki watches over woodlands, tree groves, forests, and valleys. A seiki becomes angry when disrespectful interlopers interfere and those who would disrupt the natural cycle of the world. With chilling breath, the seiki is able to exhale magical cold clouds of breath that will freeze their foes solid. A nocturnal spirit, pardon me, a nocturnal spirit, the seiki can even allow, man, I'm going to have to drink water. I'm drinking water, people. I'm all gummed up. A nocturnal spirit, the seiki is active at night and can see in the dark. The vision of the seiki can even allow it to see into the ethereal plane. The bite and claws of the seiki are magical, giving it the ability to cut through the toughest of hide and armor. So attuned to the winter landscape, the seiki can blend and meld into the snow and ice to camouflage itself. The seiki is intelligent. It can speak. In fact, it can speak Druidic and Sylvan. So you can negotiate with this creature. But you do not want to anger the seiki. Absolutely not. That is everything on the seiki that I have for you today. I want to thank you for watching and listening. I want to thank Esper the Bard for allowing me to cover his monsters. And I want to thank all of my patrons who support me so I can keep doing this. And all the best with your monsters. Until next time, keep rolling those 20s. I'm going to apologize. I'm really struggling today. I usually am able to get rid of a lot of, sort of all the gummed up, but hay fever is really messing me up bad today, and also changing weather doesn't help as well. I'm going to go very, very quickly into covering the stat block and the entry from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica, because we have a lot of work to do. We have to make our own monster today, and so we're going to need a lot of that time. So yeah, bear with me, and let's get started, shall we? Okay, this is the seiki, or the guardian of the hollow. Okay, as you can see, it has a challenge rating of 5, so it's sort of a medium range creature, or low to medium range creature, spirit really. It looks very much like a white bear, for those of you who are wondering. I'm sure you weren't wondering, you knew what it was. And its armor class is 16. It's got 85 hit points, which is just the average. It moves reasonably fast, but it can climb very fast as well. 30 feet for climbing, but 40 feet, which is terrifying. You're not going to outrun this thing if you're a human. It's not going to happen. It's very strong. It's actually quite intelligent and wise as well. And you'll notice that it's pretty much, unless you have a magical weapon, you're not going to harm a creature like this very effectively. It's going to really make it very difficult. It has a couple of abilities that I've already kind of mentioned, such as the Spirit Strike, the Primal Essence, and its Winter Breath, which recharges on a 5 or a 6. And of course you have your Bite and your Claw. There is a box, sort of a side box in blue, that gives you some additional options if you want to use them, which is always quite nice. Now, when I did the lore for this, there isn't a lot of lore on this creature, so there's a lot of mystery behind it. It's not fleshed out in a huge amount, and I've tried not to get into the habit of putting too much information into these creatures, just because I feel like in this case in particular, and then sometimes it happens with these monsters when I'm talking about them from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica, I realize that for some of these monsters, the mystery is probably important to retain, so I don't get too much into the nuance of the beast or creature. Also too, I run into sometimes it's really obvious what Esper's trying to do, and I can pick up on it and just go with it. And other times I feel like this is something that Esper needs to actually put information into before I start tinkering with it. So yes, that's what we have for today. Now, I said we're building a monster today. Now, for those of you, the few of you that have actually showed up for the live stream, I have a huge surprise for you. I talked to AJ Pickett and to Wally DM. And when I was talking to AJ Pickett and Wally DM, I've been trying to figure out how to make a monster book for a long time. And so we have an arrangement. It's just a verbal arrangement, and we'll see how we go. It's going to come down to how well we make monsters here. Fred Huber, don't fool with Mother Nature, or she'll send something to frostbite you. Yep, absolutely. You like the monster so far? Well, hello Derp, also a patron as well as Fred Huber. Thank you for being here. It's a dog, yeah, sure. Hello Pale Rider. Monster has short quills that excrete a poisonous liquid. So slow down with your ideas, slow down, okay? I have brought along a lot of tables and charts. We created all these tables and charts. Now, I was thinking if I were to get Wally to help me put the book together and profit share, that would be a good idea. Then AJ said something, and now if we can make a good enough monster, the concept drawing, we'll do AI art for the concept drawing. If we can make a good enough piece of concept work, and the lore is really good, AJ Pickett has agreed to draw the monster himself, not using AI, but using the conceptual AI art. He'll use that as a starting point. He'll draw the monster himself. He'll take the lore and he'll turn it into a video and put it on his channel. But the monster has to be good. We have to make a pretty good monster for that to happen. Now, if that happens and the artwork occurs and he likes the monster, then Wally will drop it into a continuing document. And I said, well, I reckon we should do 200 monsters. That'd probably take us 4 years. And Wally said, no, Fred, we're not taking 4 years to make a monster book, even if this does work. And we're not guaranteed that it will work. But if it did work, this is where we're going with this. It's probably going to be in volumes. So there'll be a release every certain period of time once we have enough monsters together. And once we have a few volumes done, then maybe there'll be a book as well. That's the motivation. So all of the files and stuff that I'm creating today, because we're going to do the monster lore, the conceptual art with AI, and the stat block, It is all going to be going into a folder for them to peruse and decide what to do with. That's essentially what we're going to do. So for those of you who want to be part of that, great. If you don't, that's all right, because I have random tables. So this is the first task that we have as part of our monster building exercise. I'm going to pull up my chat. Do not throw stuff into the chat just yet, okay? I'm quite serious, people. Just slow down. I know you're getting excited. For those of you who are actually here, this is this is our first step. We're not going to deal with the monster name right now. That's not our first step, okay? Instead, I'm going to share this screen with you so you can see it. This is probably familiar to people. We did 14 of these monsters, and they're kind of sitting on my Google Docs somewhere unfinished. We're doing number 15 today. Now, the question is, we have to decide what type of monster. This is the template that Wally DM has asked me to use for filling out the stat block. We'll see how well I do at filling out stat blocks quickly. I don't think that's going to be likely, but we'll see. Anyway, so that is the stat block, and of course I have Starry AI for the concept art. These are the things that I have in front of me. So our first task, the first thing that you need to respond to is this. Forget about the name George. What type of monster? What type of monster? Oh, come on. Monster do we make? Okay, that's the first question. And you're going to be picking from a couple of different options. I'm not going to put it into the poll because I feel like those people in the polls aren't necessarily contributing. So, so we have land, marine, sky, and subterranean. Subterranean. Bum, bum, bum. Hello, Noroak. Welcome to the party. So please let me know what you would like to do. You want to do a beast. Now, when I say type, beast is fine. I have no problems. Beast is fine. But we're making a monster. We want to make it good. We're going to use some tables. I have all my tables lined up and ready to go. Oh, that's why so many tabs opened up. So are we doing a land? Are we doing a marine or sea one? Are we doing a sky flying one? Are we doing a subterranean under the ground one? All right, we've got some votes coming in. Come on, Fred Huber, gigantic land-based. Land-based it is. So let's go to land-based. Some of you will be familiar with this and some of you won't be. This is an ongoing, still in trial table that I've been using for this. So land-based, we have to roll. Now, is it going to be a quadruped or a bipedal creature? Land is the way to go today. We're doing land today. So is the monster... Come on, Fred. I'm having trouble typing. Is the monster a bipedal or quadrupedal? I'm going to get it right. Quadrupedal beast. So what are you chosen? A quadruped with wings. Let's slow down. We forget about the wings. If we're going to have a flying creature, we're not having a land creature. So the wings, forget the wings. So we want a quadruped, triped. You want a triped. Quadruped wins today. So we're going to need to make sure that we have head, body, and legs. In here, we have head, body, and legs. That's good. So now we need to go down, as you might be familiar, we have tables for land, flying creatures, stuff. Now, I'm going to suggest that what we do is we roll 3 times. Percentile dice is what you want, because I'm pretty sure with the land-based creatures, we had a few. How many did we have? We had 100. Yeah, there's 100. So we're going to roll for our land-based monster now. Hashtag roll percentile dice for head, body, and limbs. All right. Fred Huber's already rolled for the head. Let's see what 48 is, shall we? 48. 48 is a lizard. So we're going to have a lizard head. Why not? Lizard heads always look pretty scary, so I like that idea. So let's put a lizard head in there. Format there, done. And then Noroak has rolled a 66. So 66 for a body. It's a, it's a rear. God, can't even remember what the rear is, but anyway. It's probably a dog. So those of you who have been in my live streams before will understand the joke. And then Pale Rider has rolled a 12. So let's go to 12. What is 12 going to be? I'm kind of curious what 12 is. 12 is a bibelog. What's a bibelog? God, I don't even remember what these things are. I should write this all up, but it's time. I just haven't had time. Do a full-time job. It makes it hard. So this is the type of creature we're making. Head, body, limbs. God knows what we're going to get when I stick it into the AI. Okay, so while I'm doing that, I'm going to give you another task because we need to keep moving forward. We've got limited time. And we need to make things happen. So I'm going to close up that window in a second on the monster body, but I wanted you to roll because we have special abilities as well. Special abilities, we have a 100. No, that's the wrong one. 100 monster special powers and abilities. 100. There's a whole table of 100. All of this is on Patreon, people. Okay, here we go. Let's just go here. Hashtag. So just wait for the roll. Wait for me to put it in. Roll percentile dice for the monster special abilities. Now we can have more than one. So any dice rolls you've already made before I punched in this thing, I'm going to ignore this. I'm going to make you roll dice a lot today. So I know you guys are sort of chafing at the bit. Hello, you doing? How you doing, Cal-Ral? How are you doing? All right, so it looks like we're going to have to pull, well, I'll pull that down now. Oh no, he's retracted it. He didn't want to put that 27 in there. Oh, well, now I've put it in. The entry's there, so you should be able to put your dice roll in now, okay? Pick and choose. You can pick and choose, but I mean, unless you have the table, I'm not going to go through every single thing and call them all out. I mean, I can I can make this a bit bigger so it's a little, so you can see more of it, but it's going to become tiny writing. This is why it doesn't matter what the abilities are. If we get an ability or a special power or something that doesn't fit, we can always push it out. Do you know what I mean? If it doesn't all mesh right, then we can just shift things out. But I mean, if you just want to pick a number, if you can't roll percentile dice, just pick a number between 1 and 100. If that's what you mean, Pale Rider, I'm fine with that. That's cool. That's all good. Pick and choose the monster aspects. It needs to be a monster worth expanding on. Yes, it does. It does. But we haven't done too badly with some of the monsters we've made this way. Like it has been quite entertaining. So Fred Huber's got a 54. So 54 is perfect vocal mimic. Can perfectly mimic any vocal sounds. That is a curious ability. I think we can definitely have another special ability, since that seems to be just one of the potential special abilities it might have. Pale Rider's got a 68. What is 68 going to wind up giving us? 68. Dun dun dun. Scalding Blast. The creature shoots a jet of heated water at opponents. That is a strange combination with a land creature. May not survive unless there's something going on that we need to know about. Anyway, and the Noroak has rolled a 96. Yeah, we will dismiss things that do not fit. Yep. Chaos is king. You just don't know what sort of things you will get when you start doing a table roll. So this is why I'm, So Pale Rider, this is exactly where my head is at. I do know that we need to, so vertical leap. The creature can I think that's pretty good. I think all of those, that's 3 special abilities is perfectly adequate. Okay, let's do that. Okay, now that gave you a sort of a flavor of where our monster's going. We're going to continue with this, but I want to draw the monster, and the problem is AI tends to take a little bit of time to put it together. So I'm going to go over to Starry AI. We'll do that first over here. I've got lots and lots of credits, so there's plenty of, we're going to do some art, and we're going to pump in the appropriate thing for this. So a monster with the head of a lizard, body of a, what's the body of something? I can't remember what it was. A re? I can't even remember what the re is. Does anybody remember what the re looks like? Re, paste. No, not the actress. Not the actress. It's basically a bird. A re is just a flightless bird. Yeah, let's just write word. The machine will understand flightless bird. Body of a flightless bird. It's basically like an emu, isn't it? Really, that's what it is. And legs, and four something legs. And let's just do that, and do. Hold off on the dice rolling, people. Just let me catch up. Okay, and then we got the legs are going to be of this. What the heck is that? I don't know what that really is either. So let's just drop that into here. So hopefully there isn't an actress called this as well. Oh, it's some sort of dinosaur bird, isn't it? Is it going to even understand what that is? It almost looks like a chicken. A baby dragon dinosaur found. Da 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 da. It's a dinosaur bird, basically. Let's just say dinosaur bird. And for dinosaur bird legs. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but as an unusual combination. All right, let's see if it can figure this one out. First off, we need a run time that's at least in the 1 to 50s. Forget about that. It's just going to be portrait because it's just conceptual. I just need something for AJ to work with. We're going to go style. I don't know that I like this style here. We can try that one and see what we generate from that one. So let's do that first. Does it pop up? Or does it hate me? Does it hate me? Fine. Okay. Real Visual Excel. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Okay, so let's try. No, that looks like a cartoon. Hydra. Hydra's not been too bad sometimes. So let's do the Hydra one. There's the Hydra in process. Okay. Anime, photograph, no. Portrait's not going to be. Lyra might be all right. Let's try Lyra. It's a bit cheaper, that one. Okay, we've got 3 going. Do Lyra. Abstract world won't work. Cinematic won't work. Fantasy, maybe. Sometimes fantasy has worked. Oh, we've got a few pictures starting to come through. Argo, I found Argo to almost be a complete waste of my time. Sci-fi, no. Cyberpunk, no. Argo 2 is pretty bad as well. Flats, let's forget about that. 3D, no, I don't really want that. Detailed, I don't know about detailed. There's a lot of new ones here, and the problem I've discovered is I can pick something and the style might not fit what we're trying to do. Anyway, I think that's enough. We've got 3. I can do one more. Let's do one more. Magic, extreme realism. Let's try I haven't tried extreme realism. Got no idea what I'll get out of that. Let's try extreme realism. Okay, all right, we've got some monster pictures coming through. It's going to be a... okay, so what do we got here? Just checking on my chat here. Chaos is king. Yes, yes, yes. It does feel like it's going to be a steam spewing alligator in many places. Yeah, kind of. I feel like it's going to wind up being something like that. You got your wings. I don't know about your wings. It's a flightless thing. A terrifying drake. It could well be like a terrifying drake. A fey creature of some kind. Fey spewing alligator. All right, let's have a look at some of these pictures very quickly. And we will discard the ones that are really bad. It gives you at least an idea of where we're at with this. Okay, so this is the first one. That's kind of doing what we want it to do. I mean, it's got the sort of the lizard-like head. It's kind of it's less lizard-like head than I really wanted it to be. It's only got 2 legs, so that really isn't very good. This one here I kind of don't like very much. Because we need 4 legs, not 2 legs. It just looks like a bird dinosaur, really. That's not doing what I asked. I asked for 4 legs. It can't figure this out, can it? Look at this. It's still going with the 2-legged thing. All right, let's... So much for that first one. Let's try again. Let's see if we got something else. We're going to be stuck with 2-legged stuff. Okay, so that's got the head. It looks more like just a dinosaur. Doesn't it, really? Lizard head. This, I don't know. That one, no, that's not really what I was looking for either. That's not what I was looking for either. We're still winding up with just 2 legs. It just doesn't understand. This here has got way too many legs. I don't know what's going on here. That looks crazy. That's got wings. That's not going to stay. I don't know what's going on there. That's really bad. And that is a mess. Okay, all right, so this is not working too well. Let's go here and try this one. It doesn't understand it at all, does it? Oh my God, that's awful. That's not so great either. And that is, I feel like, is it raising up onto its, it's probably raising up onto its, yeah, well, maybe that's better than it's not the best. But, okay, that's in the queue. Let's get back to making our monster. We've had a look and see what the artificial intelligence is trying to do. It ain't doing a very good job. Let's get real. AI, Starry AI, is not doing a great job in drawing our monster. But that's all right, because we're going to do the monster traits. Oh, dear. All right. So we have done special powers. I think we've got more than enough special powers. We're going to do some monster traits. Let me punch this in and you're going to get ready to roll your dice. Hashtag roll percentile dice for monster traits. Okay, my message is in. I'm going to drink some water. I'm also going to put a lozenge in my mouth because I'm going to need one. And we are going to work our way through this fairly quickly. Bum, bum, bum. After that, we're going to have to do, I can't remember, is it Monster Origins? I think it's the Monster Origin. We've got a Monster Origin table. So, yeah, there's a whole bunch of these things. I'll just zoom this in so you can kind of see. Anyway. So yes, now the thing with traits is they're always in effect. They don't get turned on or off. They are things that would always be active on the creature or beast. We want something that kind of fits what we've already tried to build. We kind of know what it looks like roughly. We've got a fairly good idea of what its special abilities are to fit with that. And Noroak, Pale Rider, and Fred Hubert has started rolling some dice, so we can have a look at this. So 79 is our first choice. So let's have a look. Silence. The creature dampens sound around it in a specific radius. I wonder why it does that. Now, we don't need to keep this one, but we will see. You never know, it might work. Next, you rolled 26, Pale Rider. Let's have a look and see what 26 says. 26. 26. 26 is darkness. The creature emits darkness around it. Well, that's very odd. I don't know if we'll be keeping that one either, but we'll see. Maybe it would work. Would it be bad if a monster could move around and take its own darkness with it? That's actually quite strange. Next one, Fred Huber rolled a 54. Kangaroo black hole. I feel like the kangaroo black hole and the darkness thing kind of fit together a little bit. It has an extra dimensional marsupial pouch. This is a really strange trait that we put together. It's very, very odd. It's very odd. It feels like it's definitely a pouch ambush creature. Darkness comes towards you. Suddenly you are shoved into a marsupial pouch. It feels like this might be what's going on here. After you've been cooked and scalded by its blasty water. Okay, now we're going to do monster motivation. Let's see what our monster motivation is going to be. So let me pump this in before you dice roll. Give me a second. Roll percentile dice for monster motivation. Okay, here we go. Monster motivation. We have 100 monster motivations, and it's going to be an interesting process to see which one is going to fit what we already have. My general feeling is that the marsupial pouch and the darkness thing kind of do actually go together quite nicely. The silence thing I'm not too sure about, but again, maybe we can kind of combine them together, because it would be odd to have this black cloud that dampens sound around it, and then suddenly you get grabbed and shoved into a marsupial pouch. It would be weird as a monster. Let's get real. It would be strange. 32. It's hungry. 50. 54. Let's have a look and see what we get on our tables. There are so many tables too. 32. First one. 32. Friendship. The monster wants a relationship of mutual trust and support. I really don't think that's going to work. I'll put it in, but I really feel like this monster doesn't. I don't feel like this is a monster that's going to be that nice. Not with a kangaroo black hole and darkness around it and a scalding blast. I don't think so. I'm not even remotely convinced that that's going to work at all. But anyway, 50. Fred Huber, you've rolled a 50. The pouch is for storing its boiled prey. And that would be my thought. Is that's probably what's going on here. Let's just put this down here. The pouch is for storing its cooked prey. I don't know. Now that's pouch, pretty much not spelt that way. Pouch with a U. Pouch is for storing its its cooked prey. Whatever, something like that. Anyway, let's keep going. I was collecting up traits, and we were on to 50, weren't we? 50. Lost item. The creature is searching for a stolen or missing or lost object. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. As a motivation, I'm not terribly convinced by that one either. I don't feel like that kind of meshes, unless there's something that definitely needs to have. Maybe it's lost its baby. I don't know. 44. Calrel, let's hopefully your 44 is going to be a bit jealous. The monster is envious and resentful of other creatures for some reason. Now, I like this one more. just because it sets up our monster as more of a villain rather than a poor beast that is misunderstood. So we can come back to this. So we've done our monster motivations. It's searching for the prey that got away. Could well be. Could well be. Maybe it is. It's searching for the food it has lost. Okay. I don't know. It's a civilized creature. We're going to do society later, so don't jump the gun yet. Let me just do in the next thing. So motivations. We've got a couple of things going on here. Now, did I close the wrong one? I'm just wondering if because I did monster motivations, and then after monster motivations, it's origin. Have I got origin? Yes. You're going to roll a 20-sided dice for origins. I'm going to just type it in first. Roll a d20 for monster origin. Or pick a number. I don't mind, really. If you haven't got a 20-sided dice, just pick a number. So we made this a long time ago. There's a lot of experimental stuff going on here, but there's lots of things that are sort of, potentially might work. We just got to decide which one was going to be the one that we like the most, and we'll get some numbers and find out what we have. First numbers are coming in. Wonderful. So, Norok, you've rolled a 10. Imagination. A monster comes into existence from someone's imagination. So that's very sort of, beholderish, really. So let's paste that and see how we go. Let's have a look at some of the other options. Fred Huber has rolled. Cal-Rel, hopefully, is still going to give us a number. He's probably rolling dice or deciding what he's going to do, I would imagine. Fred Huber, you got a 7. Let's see what 7 would be. Curse, a solemn utterance intended to invoke a supernatural punishment. This creature is, I feel like if you're dealing with a black hole, that does feel very curse-like, if you know what I mean. The origin is a curse. It almost feels like it's a cursed beast or creature of some kind. Anyway, that's if somebody else wants to roll for that, you can by all means. Oh, Cal-Rel has. You got 81. So we're rolling, it's a 20-sided dice this time, so pick a number between 1 and 20 or just roll a 20-sided dice. It's not a percentile dice, this one. There's a lot fewer different origins. If you just think in terms of how many different types of origins could you have, there aren't that many. Not really. Just a few. And after that, we're going to be doing our monster lair. How are we doing for time? We're doing all right. We just need an update. We're going to do the monster lair next. To an 18? Fine. 18 it is. I'll take 18. 18. Viral infection. Any illness from a virus results in a monster. Or it could be a specific virus. So it's a viral creature. Maybe it's a viral creature. I like this, the curse one. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Let me know in the comments which one you sort of like. Out of the 3, which one sort of stands out for you. I can highlight the ones that we might want to keep. We could probably even include maybe 1 or 2 of them together. That would be my suggestion. Okay, so we've done our monster origin. We just need to decide which one it's going to really be in the end. Next, we're going to do our monster lair. So we have 26 different monster lairs here. I know, people. It's a lot. So what I'm going to do, let me punch in the number, hashtag, roll a D20 or roll a D20 plus a D6 for the monster's lair. Okay, It's a great hero curse turned into a creature by a hag looking for friends to help him. Cal-Rel, how the hell did you manage to tie all of that together? I mean, seriously. I don't know how you managed to pull that off. I'm going to just copy that word for word and drop that in because I think that's brilliant. So I'm just switching to my head for a second, just so you don't have to see me copying and pasting people. That's so clever. So we've got a few things going on here. Cursed and turning into a hand looks like. I kind of like that idea. We'll just leave that there for now. And back to our transition screen. There we go. Let's have a look and see what our layers are going to be. What a layer will we have today? You can just pick a number between 1 and 26. You know, it would not be the end of the world if you just did that. It would be fine. Okay, so Norok has got a 15. D6 is 1. All right, so we've got 15, 11. Cal-Rel, you've rolled a... So, yeah. So, Norok, you want your 15 and your 1. Add that makes a 16, correct? So, we're looking at 16 for the monster lair. Okay, let's go for 16 for the monster lair. It's a mansion. I don't think that makes much sense myself, but maybe it does. Maybe it does. If you've been cursed, I don't think you're going to be living in your mansion anymore. Okay, next one. The hero's worst nightmare is the curse. Exactly. Next, Cal-Rel, you've got a 12 and a 3, so that means that's a 15. So let's have a look and see what 15 is. It's a lake, a large area of fresh water surrounded by land. It's not really a water creature, though. And then the last one, Fred Huber has rolled up 11. So let's have a look at what 11 is. A dungeon, a deep hole. So out of those three, which one do you think is the best option? I mean, I'm inclined to think that this might be one of those times where it's going to be a little weird to have it structured that way. The hero had a mansion. Well, maybe it's a ruined mansion. I suppose it could be a ruined mansion. A little bit like Beauty and the Beast, right? Ruined mansion of... Miss Grill. Okay. I like that idea. Dungeon of the mansion by the lake. Okay, so we're going to put the mansion by the lake. Mansion is by the lake. So we're creating a one of a kind creature now. Yep. Dungeon under the mansion is where it now lives. Okay, so we got a few things. Man, how did we manage? So we've actually created a mansion by the lake, and under the mansion is a dungeon, and that's where it now resides. And it's a ruined mansion. Okay, all right, that's fine. Got a lot going on there. On an island and a lake. You want an island? Yes. Okay, all right, got it. Cool, blimey. Hopefully I don't miss anything. Yeah, psychic dim. So, oh, I guess it makes sense. It would need to be near water if it's going to be able to spit water at you. isn't it? That kind of fits. Who would have guessed? Okay, let's do monster reproduction. I think we've established if it's a curse, rolling for monster reproduction is going to be a little bit strange. But we'll do it anyway, just because it'll be hilarious. We have 24 of them, by the way. There are 24 different reproduction cycles for our monsters. So let's do that now. Hashtag. Roll a d20 for monster reproduction process, if it has one, that is, or a d20 plus a d4. You could do it that way as well. Okay, all right, I'm taking numbers as of now. So if you've already got a number and you put it in too soon, chuck it underneath. Chuck it underneath, okay? So we've got a 4. You've got a 4. So 4 for reproduction. Curse. 4 is reproduction. Well, that's how reproduction. That could be, well, that might be the way to go. Let's just make the reproduction process a curse. That's easy. It's cursed and it reproduces by passing on its curse. That's a pretty easy way to deal with it. And then Noroka's got a 9. What does 9 come out at? Magic. The monster casts a powerful spell that creates an offspring from its elemental forces. Maybe it can do that, and what it's doing is it uses magic to cast a curse onto somebody else, and that's how it creates itself, by using magic, by cursing a magical curse. 13, parasite. I feel like parasite's not really going to work. I think we leave parasite alone. It's there, but I think the ones that really stand out for today are going to definitely be the curse and the magic one. I think they can be combined nicely, whereas the parasite one, I think this is the way to go. I think that is the way to go. We've managed to include all of this, which is so we've got a lot of information going on with that bit. It's curse, viral. I think the imagination thing can probably go, so we're going to keep the curse. Is the curse a virus? I don't know. Is it just a magic? I think it should be just a magical thing. I think that's the one that we go with, those there. I think that's going to work best. Okay, and then friendship, lost item, jealous. We'll come back to them. Okay, all right. So let's keep moving on, so because we're going to run out of time otherwise, and I don't want to. Okay, next. No, not 4. Rolled a d10 divided by 4 is. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So you didn't want 4. Yeah. Okay. All right. Although 4 does kind of work, because it's the curse, right? A magical curse. A magical curse. And you've got 13 parasite. Anyway, let's go with the food one. Hashtag. Where are we? Just trucking along here with our reproduction cycle. And we got 40 for our monster food and diet, which is our next task. So this is what you're going to do. Hashtag roll 2 d20 for monster food or diet. Okay. This is the one to go with. Keep curse and imagination, you reckon? Curse and imagination. Curse. I think the viral thing we get rid of. I think that has to go. Imagination, I'm not entirely sure how that works, but I do like the idea of a hero being cursed and turned into a creature by a hag and is looking for friends to help him or help them. So that kind of works for me. Lost item, jealous. Anyway, so food. How are we doing with food? We're rolling some food numbers. Okay, cool. Let's have a look and see what we get. Food. First one is 21 from Noroak. 21. A giggle muncher. The monster absorbs laughter as a result of as a form of sustenance. I don't think that really fits. I'll put it, but I feel like that is a food source for this monster. Probably doesn't make sense. What did Fred Huber's got a 4? Come on, people. Roll some dice. Roll some dice. Roll them. 4. A caffeine consumer. The monster snacks on coffee and coffee beans. Again, I feel like that is kind of out of place as well. We're not doing great in terms of picking something randomly that's going to work. I'm sure something will pop up. No mess. Yeah, I think the curse thing works better than the other stuff myself in this case. Derp, 23, thank you. Derp, let's see if your 23 is the way to go. 23, insectivore. The monster feeds on bugs and insects. Do you know, I think that is the one. I reckon that is the one. It's pretty basic and simple, but sometimes basic and simple is the way to go, right? I actually like that one a lot. And I'm going to do 24. You've got 24 here as well. So let's see what 24 was. Magic Devourer. The monster drains or siphons magic and spells. Okay. All right. So we got them. I think right now the giggle thing, got to go. I think we get rid of that. I don't think we need that. I think the insect or the magic devourer thing is probably the better options out of it. So we're going to highlight those. I don't like the caffeine or the giggle muncher myself. Not for this creature anyway. Next. Now we're going to have to roll up 4 or 5 of these little suckers. So be prepared to roll a few times, people. Roll. Now this table that we did for our senses is again a D20 dice roll, but of course there's 40 of them, monster senses, so there's a few little suckers to deal with, right? So we could have all sorts of silly things going on here, but let me just keep that up, and I'll type this in. Roll 2 D20 for monster senses. Very important. We need to have monster senses, otherwise. For those of you who are wondering, how many tables do we have that we're rolling on for creating our monster lore? There's a lot. We spent a lot of time on it. Okay? Instead of feeds on laughter and having it feed on screams and pain, perhaps it drains spells and turns it into curse. Yes, I suppose it could. I just like the idea of having a really strange monster that just feeds on sort of normal stuff. That would be quite interesting, because feeding on magic and so forth is it definitely is a trope. It's definitely a trope. It's a pretty standard sort of thing that goes on. But anyway, you guys have been rolling. So Calrel rolled a 14 and a 9. 14 and 9 together is maths. 23. 23. What is 23 for our senses? We need to have at least 4 senses, I feel. Okay? So if we don't have at least 4 rolls, then we need to have them. They need to happen. Okay. Poison detection. Is the poison detection really going to make a lot of sense for this creature? I'm not too sure. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Paste. What else? Next one on here is a 9 and a 16. 9 and 16 is 25 from Fred Huber, 25. Radiation detection, that the monster can detect small and large doses of radioactive decay. Copy. I almost feel like the insects should be like beetles and cockroaches. Like it's 36 from Noroak. 36 from Noroak. Let's have a look and see what 36 is. 36 is going to be weakness sense. The monster can sense if a creature is sick, wounded, diseased, or has a disability. Okay, so we might have to trim some of this down, but we'll see how we go. I want to put in at least 4 of these, just to make sure we've covered our basic senses. 26. 26 is retrocognition. It's got so many different senses. We probably will have to trim this down and just go with something fairly basic. So retrocognition, the monster perceives or know of past event which could not have been learned or inferred by normal means. So in other words, it's sort of like you know about past events and there's no sort of explanation as to why that might be the case. 11, 15 is 26. Okay, we've got that one. And we've got a 16. Yeah. 37. Let's have a look at 37 as well. And then I think we'll stop. Wealth detection. Oh, let's leave that alone. I think we'll leave the wealth collection alone. Although, actually, maybe the wealth collection is not a stupid idea. Do you know, there's an idea forming in my head. What would happen if you had a creature that was wealthy, had a mansion, suddenly finds himself in dire straits, and now can stalk down and detect others who have monetary wealth, and is jealous of the fact that they can benefit from their wealth, so then burns them alive, shoves them in the marsupial pouch, and that's it. That I feel like that actually there might make the most amount of sense. Isn't that a ridiculous idea? I honestly think that's the one that stands out the most out of all of them as a really odd and peculiar sense. Hello, Nacho Man. How are you? One monster building has begun. Yes, monster building has begun. We start at 12 o'clock, mate. Anyway, so we're going to do the monster environment. I think we've established what our monster environment is, okay? It's the dungeon under a ruined mansion on an island surrounded by a lake. Oh, well, it just wrote itself, didn't it? Surrounded. There we go. So let's do our monster communication. I think we've got that nailed down. Monster communication is there's 40 different of things that we could use here. I don't know which one is going to be the best one. I'm moving this around real fast, as you might have noticed. But yeah, there's quite a few different little wacky things going on here. So I'm going to get you to roll in a second. Just give me a sec. Hashtag roll 2 D20 for monster communication. Bum bum bum. Eats precious metals. You reckon it should eat precious metals? Well, I don't think we had that as part of our potential diet for this creature. I still think, based on what we've got here, that probably the more interesting idea is going to wind up being the most odd idea, and that it's pretty basic. Like, I actually like the idea that it just feeds on bugs. I almost want to put in cockroaches and beetles, not just bugs and insects. Like it specifically eats cockroaches and beetles, because it would be what would be the worst thing you could do to somebody? Transform them into a creature whose main diet is the most disgusting bug or insect you could think of. Oh yeah, doing that. Let's do that. Let's feeds on cockroaches and beetles. Is that a beetle? Beetles. I feel like they should be stink beetles. Cockroaches and beetles is a fairly easy diet to sort of deal with. Yeah, yes. Insectivore. I like it. I think this is. Let's get rid of this here. We don't need that. This is not going to work for me. This is definitely highly cruel on my part. Morse code. How do we get to Morse code? 29, 23, 24, 10. Dung beetles. Oh, dung beetles. Thank you very much. Dung beetles. Dung beetles and stink beetles. Is a dung beetle a stink beetle? I don't know. Beetles. If it runs out of cockroaches and dung beetles, it's going to just eat a beetle. And I think we get rid of the magic thing. Because it's like transforming somebody into a frog and forcing them to eat flies. Dear. All right. The evil laughter is coming out there. I'm sorry about that, people. I can't help myself. It's like the twirling mustache, and I don't even have the mustache. Anyway, let's go back to where we were, which was on communication before I got carried away. 29 from Fred Huber. He's got here quantum entanglement. The creature sends messages instantly across any distance. Quantum entanglement. That would be something, wouldn't it? I don't know that this is necessarily the best communication style for this monster, but we've got a few more here. We've got 23 from, that was 29 was from Noroak. Morse code. Fred Huber's got 23. What is 23? 23 is, it's the plant network thing. I don't think that's going to work. I think that's going to be outside of what we are trying to do here. I don't think that fits very well. I don't think it's very planty. It just doesn't feel that planty to me. Anyway, 24 from Cal-Rel. He's got neurosynthesis. The creature creates or modifies the intensity of nuclear reaction and uses the electromagnetic radiation to communicate messages. Blimey. Talk about a complicated communication system. Did we not include some simpler ones? Does this fit? Do anybody see any of these working? I don't know that they do. I feel like they sort of use the comment section to tell me if something you can see a way of making it work. I don't know. 10. Fred Huber's got 10. Dung beetles. They're called dung beetles. Okay, 10. Let's see what 10 is. 10 is dance. Holy shit. You know, I would be tempted to make it communicates by dance. I feel like the dance is the one that would sell it for me. So we've got quantum entanglement. We've got the plant network. We've got the nuclear reaction and electromagnetic radiation communication. We've got the dance, communication by dance. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, the dancing monster. Yes, embrace the curse mentality. When in doubt, curse it out. Yeah. Hope this makes for an appetizing lunch. I don't know. I have no idea. Morse code makes more sense. You're really talking about tapping, aren't you? You're talking about tapping. And I think we might have had tapping as an option here. If you wanted to just pick something that just said the word tapping, tactile, talking, twitching, tactile. The monster makes physical contact using slaps, hugs, clicks, bites. What do people think? Yes, I think dance is the way. I really do. I feel like a dancing part bird-like creature with a lizard head. I feel like this is the one, that dancing and rhythmic steps. I really feel like I want to do that. It is, but I mean, obviously it's nutty as, but I feel like out of all of them, all the four, I think this is the one, and it's kind of got a. Let's see. Hang on. The monster moves rhythmically to a set sequence of steps, body undulations, wing flapping. There's no wing flapping. Head bopping. Head bopping, tail wags, and hang on, let's go tail wags, and tapping to convey information. Imagine you have smart enough to actually be able to communicate, but you had no formal language because you're a creature that doesn't have the ability to do that. And suddenly you're like desperately trying to communicate. It's like I'm trying to use my body language because I've got nothing coming out of my mouth other than hot scalding water. I like this idea. Let's incorporate that. The dance looks like trying to attack. It does, and it's going to cause all sorts of problems. Every time it dances it feels extreme what? Pain. Oh, good Lord. Oh, you are a sick mother, you are. What's wrong with you, Noroak? Dear. Okay. Every time it dances, it feels extreme pain. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to survive. Let's see how we go here. Next, let's do the next one because I think we've nailed down communication. Let's deal with our monster society. I don't know that it has a monster society. It is a one-off creature. I think we've already established that it doesn't really have a bloodline or a society as such. I honestly think we should just pick this one. I feel like it's it's like one of a kind, because we had the solo. The monster does not have a society because it is one of a kind or prefers isolation. I feel like that is the thing we should select. But I know that you might want to roll, so we're going to let you roll. Way too much to say. Yes, way too much to say. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some trimming. I can see it now. Let's go here. Roll a D20 for monster society, or roll D20 plus, come on, a D4, hashtag otherwise suggest something. I think the problem at this point is our monster is kind of I really do feel like our monster has been shaped by all of the other things that we've rolled for and made decisions about. And so we kind of have nailed it down to this. This is why I feel like it doesn't really have a society. Somebody's put down 23, and I tend to agree. You actually rolled that, then that's what it was meant to be, wasn't it? Obviously, we were talking about it, and I think this is probably where it stands. It sits here as a solo creature. I don't think it prefers isolation, but I think it is going to be forced into isolation. Okay, so that's great. Awesome. Next, we're going to do our last one, and then I'm going to start doing a mod. You guys are going to do a lot of work with the lore of this creature while I am doing the stat block. I'm going to show you how to build a stat block really fast for a monster. For those of you who have no idea how to make something like that work, it's all right. I've got it now, and we've got 100 monster weaknesses. Get those percentile dice ready, or make a decision about 1 to 100. Let me pump this in, and we'll go from here. Hashtag roll percentile dice for monster weakness. Got to have one. my eyes are starting to go a little bit. So if I'm dropping my head back down and up and so forth and changing from big text to tiny text on my phone, it's because I'm losing my mind. But it's been a fun process. I mean, over the last hour or so, this has been a hoot. Goldilocks. Oh, really? Goldilocks. Compelled to try out other people's food. That's so strange. We'll add it in as a weakness. For sure. Let's do that. Paste. Goldilocks. And you guys are rolling up numbers now. I say curse hierarchy. As the curse spreads, you are bound to the service of the creature that cursed you last. A cursed society. A cursed society. Do you know, I feel like this, stopping a cursed society, I almost feel like, do you know what it is? Let's not establish that there is a cursed society. I think what we're trying to do is part of relationship is the monster is trying to create a cursed society of its own kind. That makes a lot of sense because that's the jealous, I do not like what has happened to me create. I think that's where we go with that. It's still a solo creature. It doesn't have a society yet. So a monster does not have a society, but because it's the only, it's one of a kind, and is forced into isolation. Into isolation. I like that idea a lot more. I think that's where we want to go with this. Anyway, back to our monster weaknesses. 14. Let's have a look and see what 14 is. Kind of curious about that. Bum, bum, bum. What is 14? I haven't seen these. Clumsy. The monster is not agile or coordinated with its movements. I think that would be great. I think that's one we definitely want to consider. The Goldilocks thing, eating people's food, I don't know about that one. But the clumsy, that would work for me. I don't know if it works for you. But 44, Noroak, got to have a few. Yeah, well, we don't have to necessarily have that many. I think one thing is probably fine, but we'll see how it all fits together, eh? 44, Glutton. The monster can't stop eating, which can result in its stomach bursting or stomach ache. Forcing it to eat constantly cockroaches and dung beetles would be hilarious. Glutton. The monster can't stop eating, which can result in stomach aches. Instead of bursting, let's just go for stomach aches. We force you to eat cockroaches and dung beetles and beetles for the rest of your life, and you just can't stop eating them because you like them so much. That is pretty cursey. That's pretty horrible. I'm going to unhighlight this section. Oh, you want 96. It's a trip when it dances. Yeah, it's a glutton definitely sounds like part of a curse. It does. It really does. I feel so much like this. And I think we can get rid of all of this. I really don't think we need these other senses. But the wealth detection, because forcing others who used to be wealthy into its marsupial pouch, extra-dimensional marsupial pouch, once they've been cooked, was probably definitely something it would consider. But I don't even think it cooks you, puts it in you into the marsupial pouch, and it's a black hole, so you're kind of like destroyed at that point. Ah, man, now I'm getting a bit crazy, aren't I? Yeah, burn you alive and then shove you into my marsupial pouch, and I don't even eat you, because I prefer eating cockroaches and other things. Get rid of the parasite thing. I don't think the parasite thing works. And a magical curse. I think the magical curse idea is a good idea, so we're gonna leave that there. The lair, we've got our lair kind of locked down. We know what our lair is. That's nice. I feel a curse. The imagination thing, I think we can get rid of that. The question is, why did the hag curse this this person? Why did the hag? So why did the hag curse the person who is now a monster? So that is the question. I feel like this is very specific to this creature, so that's sort of going to be important to have an idea of what that is. I don't know about the silence thing. I think the darkness and the kangaroo black hole is quite cool. So let's get rid of the silence thing. I think we get rid of that. I don't think we need that one. 96. Now you said 96. Let's have a look at 96 for weaknesses. 96 is Vandal. The creature is compelled to deface any manufactured items or building. I can see that. I can see this monster doing something like that. That I can see. That makes a lot more. I like that. That works. I like, oh, your house, I'm going to go and wreck it. Ah, dear. All right, let's just drop this in here. Paste. And get rid of the Goldilocks thing. Well, Goldilocks and so forth. No, other people's food. No, we want to keep it. It's eating roaches. That's what we're going to stay with. We want it eating roaches. It's clumsy, vandal. So there's a few things going on here. We've got some weaknesses. We've got some behavior stuff going on here too, which is quite nice. So I'm quite happy to keep all three of those now that I think about it. Okay, all right. So we've done a really good job. I would say there is some sort of clearly a few things that need to be solved. So I'm going to go through our monster real quick so that you guys can come up with some additional things to help pull everything together, because we want to make sure that AJ likes our monster so that he actually draws the monster. Glutton definitely sounds like part of yes. It feeds on boiled bodies of the roaches to grow their numbers. Oh my gosh, that is so disgusting. And I also love it because now it's scalding breath. Roaches love hot water, which is really bizarre. But you're so right. As a monster motivation, bodies of roaches. I really think that you've got something there. So I'm just jumping over to my head just very quickly. I just want to grab it straight out of the chat so that I don't forget it. And when I have to write this up on the weekend, God help me if I have enough time to get it all done, but we'll see how we go. And then, what else did you say here? The hero told the truth when the hag asked if her dress made her look fat. Far out. Really? Really? Okay, let's put it in. Why did the hag curse? Because you told the truth, and that's the reason. Okay, you guys are funny sometimes. And one other thing, its lair has roach swarms. Okay, fine. We'll add roach swarms into its lair. And you guys are really firing stuff up a lot, aren't you? Okay. Roach swarms. And what was the other thing here? The hag was angry. It went to town to blow off steam. The first person to treat her badly was cursed. And that just happened to be, well, actually we can include both that. They both work together, don't they? They're not actually distinctively separate in any way. So they actually work quite nicely together. So we will do that. That's fine. Cool. All right, so let me just go through the monster very briefly, because I've got to do the monster stat block as well, and I'm going to let you guys sort of work on a lot of the We need a monster name. We need to give it a name, because right now it's Monster Exercise 15, which isn't going to work. Hashtag. What is the monster's name? We're going to name our monster. Let's do that. Need some monster names. Does the dress make me look fat? I'm going to take a quick break while you guys name the monster. I will tell you very briefly what we have here. The head of a lizard, the body of a ree, which is basically a big bird, the limbs of basically a dinosaur bird, the big log, whatever it is. Special abilities, it has perfect vocal mimic. No, we're getting rid of that. We don't want it to be able to talk at all, so we're getting rid of this thing. This goes. Scalding blast, love it. Vertical leap, perfect. Love the idea that it can leap really high in the air. That'll really mess with people. Monster traits, darkness, emits darkness around it. That's fine. The kangaroo black hole thing is all good. The pouch for storing its cooked prey. It's searching for food that it has lost. We've got that. I don't know that it really makes much sense there. So we'll just get rid of this bit here. But that's all right. Friendship. Monster wants to refer friends or trust. I don't know that the friendship thing is kind of makes much sense. I feel like it's jealous and it's lost something is probably more appropriate. It's lost something. And maybe it's lost its mind. Maybe it's just lost its lifestyle. The creature is searching for a way to get back to where it was. We'll come back to that. Jealousy, I think definitely envious, resentful of other creatures, and we've got a reason for it. We've got a curse going on here. We've got know what the curse is. The lair is a ruined mansion, and it lives underneath the mansion in the dungeon that's there, and it's on an island. Bloody. We've got a lot going on. Reproduction, it's a curse. It's a magical curse, basically. And then we have a monster food, insect. Insects are its favorite food. Senses, wealth detection, so it can detect people who have lots of money. Dear. And then we probably should have some other sort of senses, but we'll come back to that, Monster environment, the dungeon, we've got that sorted out. Monster communication, dance, and a lot of tapping going on here. A lot of body swaying. Monster relationship is a solo creature, but it's trying to create its own cursed society. And we've got a whole bunch of monster weaknesses. I'm going to take a quick toilet break, come back, do the monster stat block with you, while you guys come up with some ideas. And I'm sure you'll come up with plenty of ideas. Give me 5 minutes or less. I'm coming back in here. Let's see what your names are like for this creature, and then it's time to do the stat block, which is also going to be quite interesting. So back here, this is our monster. So we've got some names to drop in here, I hope. Some good names, right? Some interesting names, some names that will work. Please tell me that's true. Anyway, I'm going to just copy and paste your names really, really fast. And we'll go from there. Okay? What the fuck is... Really? You want to call it that? The Vestia. The Vestia. Okay, you want to call it the Vestia. What is that based off? Try not to use a name that it already exists, people, because it just won't survive the creation process. Anything that is sort of a reproduction of somebody else is not going to work. The Rochosaurus hex. Oh my gosh, the Rochosaurus though, I find that quite amusing. I like the idea of calling it a Rochosaurus. I don't know about the hex, but I like Rochosaurus. The guys are... I'm kind of curious which name AJ would pick out of all of these. The Geysosaurus? Is that right? Geysosaurus? I think it's Geysosaurus. That's Fred Huber's suggestion. So Cal-Rel, I've got yours down. Norok, I've got yours down. Norok has suggested the Rocha. I suppose you could just keep it a really simple, basic name and just call it the Rocha. That would work, I guess. I still like Rochosaurus more. I think that's pretty cool. The pouncing poacher. The pouncing poacher. Oh my gosh. There are some nutty names here. Nutty names. Okay, I'm going to put in a new prompt. We have to determine, we're going to make a Dungeons and Dragons 5e stat block in the time I have left, which is not very much time. So I'm going to do it in 20 minutes. Hashtag. What challenge rating should the monster have? That's the question. What challenge rating should the monster have? If we were playing D&D 5e, I want you to pick a challenge rating. Okay? I want you to decide what you think that might be. We're going to work with that, and we're going to build our stat block fairly quickly. It's got to be something between 0 and 30. I would suggest that nothing below 1 would make sense, and I don't really think that it should be a challenge rating 30 monster myself. I think that would be... Yes, Derp, I'm doing the stat block for D&D 5e now as well. Yeah, I'm doing the 5e stat block as well for the monster. Not just the lore, but also the monster. Okay? For those of you who have been asking, I know you've been asking me for ages. Nobody's going to be aware that I'm doing it. Because unless you've been paying attention, you just wouldn't know, right? The Terminitosaurus hex. Good Lord, Fred Huber. That is, what a name. We need to sort of trim some of that off. We're going to make it, it's got to slip off the tongue. Damned Dancer. The Damned Dancer is not a bad idea. We get to use a swear word too, which is always nice. What else have you got here? The Walking Percotia. Oh, give it back its coffee. Oh, I see. All right, I get it. The Gleaming Seeker. The Gleaming Seeker? Really? The Gleaming Seeker? I don't see it. It doesn't sit quite right. I just made it up, just threw some letters together. All right. Well, fair enough. I mean, that'll work. And this is just the brainstorming. Like, naming a monster can sometimes be just a bit of a pain, you know, without it just coming off as being a little bit odd and silly, which we certainly are doing a lot of that today. But anyway, so let's have a look. For those of you who are wondering what the heck is going on, we've done the monster image itself, like hopefully I've actually managed to get rid of most of the bits and pieces, and this thing is still in the queue. I don't know why it's still processing. We had a whole lot of problems trying to get a conceptual drawing of this thing. I think AJ Pickett is going to be able to handle this though, but I think I've picked the monster body that I like the most. I still feel like one out of the few of them is probably the better of them. And I think this is probably the image that I'm going to go with. I think that's about as close, but it needs to be on 4 legs. I don't know what else. It just looks like a standing lizard. It still doesn't quite work. It just doesn't have the body of the bird. It's kind of got lost. Somehow the bird idea just got lost. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I'm wondering if even the conceptual stuff is going to be very useful. In any case, we've got to do the stat block. So this is the stat block that I have. I don't know if we want, it's not going to be a plant. We want it to be a beast. I think it's going to be more of a monstrosity. Okay. So let's go monstrosity. Monstrosity. Unaligned monstrosity maybe. The name, I don't know. Let's just pick a name for now. That I'm going to go with the Rochesaurus because it sings to me. I don't know. It says something about that's the name I would like to have if I was cursed. So let's go with Rochesaurus. Rochesaurus. Let's not worry about the speed and the armor class and the hit points just yet because it's not that important. What we do need to do is we need to establish what our challenge rating is going to be. And you guys have put through a lot of suggestions and ideas, and this is the stat block we will be adjusting. The question is this going to be a legendary creature? Is this a legendary monster? Is this a monster that fights on its own? I feel like it is. I feel like we've just created a solo monster that fights on its own. So do we need to give it legendary actions and make it a legendary creature? What do you think? Is it a legendary creature? Hashtag. Is it a legendary monster? I feel like it is a legendary monster. Oh, you're giving me some stats for it. Okay, so let's just go. I just want to go quickly back to your chat just so I can read clearly what challenge rating you've set. Norok reckons a 12. I would be fine with a 12. Fred Huber wants a 23. Norok has said 12 or a 15 in its lair. Calrell has said challenge rating 8. Okay. Hello, Derp. Yes, Derp. Come on, put in your feedback. You're very sick, but at least my sickness gave me an opportunity to join today's stream. Well, I'm glad to have you here, even if you are sick, and I hope you feel better soon. Okay. We're going to give it low dex. All right. I'm all for you guys throwing in numbers for stats and so forth. That's all good. But this is what I want to do is I want to show you how I would go about making a monster stat block from my lore. And once I've established what I want in terms of challenge rating. So this is what I'm going to do. We're going to assume that this is a solo creature. I think we can assess that at this point this is definitely some sort of monster where really we're dealing with it being on its own. Do you know what I mean? It's on its own, and that is part and parcel of this creature. And so it probably makes sense that it would have to fight alone. If you ever faced it, it's probably going to be on its own. A steam-spitting feather alligator. Right. High stats, yes, legendary. Okay. How many legendary creatures or monsters are there that are low level? because there's a lot of solo legendary monsters with really high challenge ratings. I think we should make a legendary monster that has a low challenge rating. So out of Cal-Rel's challenge rating 8 and Noroak's challenge rating 12 and Fred Huber's challenge rating 23, I'm going to take the challenge rating 8. How's that? Okay, let's make that challenge rating 8. So what I want to do is I probably want to show you what I would do here. I'm going to use this website, but I probably shouldn't. But anyway, where are you? Source. Yes. It's under Dungeon Master Workshop. So where the heck are you? Creating monsters. Here we go. Here's the table we're going to use. And this is how I would build it, people. For those of you who need to do it quickly, most of the mathematics for a monster is completely useless to you. The only reason that you need to include all of the monster mathematics usually, this is the monster stat block for challenge rating, this is the quick build thing, okay? Now we're going to go challenge rating 8 and we're going to make it a legendary creature, which is insane, I realize, but there are very few out there that exist like that. We're going to make it a large monstrosity because I actually think that's going to work. And what we're going to do is we're going to cycle out anything that doesn't work for us. So challenge rating 8. And the XP bonus for this, look, if we go into the XP bonus, and I thought that was really that important, we could do that. But there is an XP bonus. You know, when you look at how many experience points you get for killing something, it tells you roughly how many experience points, okay? But I don't think we're going to worry about that just yet, so I'm just going to put a big, huge question mark on that for our stat block for this monster. So just don't worry about that bit there. That's not hugely important. It's just powerful in its lair. Low dex, high dex, but due to the curse, all dex saves and checks have disadvantage. Could go with a high dex disadvantage. The Lich originally has a level 11 wizard, yes. Legendary low level, interesting. I do this all the time. I turn monsters that are solo creatures into legendary monsters, and they have a low challenge rating because my players can then fight them solo, okay? This is one of the reasons why I do it. So our first thing we need to do, look at 8, challenge rating, it says proficiency bonus +3. Don't screw with that. I know a lot of people tend to do this. They've done this here with challenge rating 10 on this monster that was built. Challenge rating 10 should be a +4, and they gave it a challenge rating, not a challenge rating, a 3. So the original block that we were working with had challenge rating 10, and it was a +4. It should have been a +4 proficiency bonus. They gave it a +3. Don't screw with proficiency bonuses, people. If it's challenge rating 8 and it says proficiency bonus 3, leave it as challenge rating as a proficiency bonus 3, not challenge rating. If it's challenge rating 8 and it says proficiency bonus 3, don't screw with that. Honestly, it's not worth mucking around with. There's no real benefit to it other than to make life more difficult for yourself. Now it says armor class 16 at challenge rating 8. So we're going to go in here and we're going to go challenge rating 8 is going to have an armor class of 16. Leave the armor class as natural armor. It can have natural armor, that's fine. Whether it's feathers that are really tough or hide that's really tough or scales, who gives a toss? It doesn't matter. Now you can adjust your armor class by 1 point and that will not shift your challenge rating. So your challenge rating, as long as you don't move it beyond a 15 or a 17 from that 16, you're all good. But we don't need to mess with it right now because it's really not that important. It's honestly unimportant as a factor. So leave that alone. Next, go over to here and hit points. How many hit points should it have? And it says here between 176 and 190. That's maximum hit points, not average. Okay? So 176 and 190. So just go over here 176 to 190. Okay? That's fine. We could deal with this later. This is just a highlight area. I max out the hit points on all my monsters, by the way. For those of you who never played with power gamers, if you don't do it, they will crush everything like a bug. Two melee attacks, legendary actions. Give 3 legendary actions. It vomits. You want to vomit? All right, I'm fine with you adding vomiting. It's really, I think it's the you remember the vomiting is all very well, but what you need to stick with is the fact that it needs to have something that it can do that squirts scalding water. Do you know what I mean? And if we don't have that, there's something wrong. So yeah, there's a problem when we don't have the scalding water thing going on. Yep. So we need to include scalding water as an actual thing. So scalding blast. We target one creature, we'll build that later. Now you can have your bite or peck. You can have a peck. You can have a claw attack if you want, because it might have, I mean, even birds have claws. Those are all fine. We can come back to that. Don't worry about that. Okay? And also, you know, your scalding blast could be a recharge feature. You know, we can build it like the sunbeam feature here and just restructure it a little bit. Next. Yes, scalding could be the recharge. So essentially all we would be doing is just take the sunbeam blast, recharge on a 5 or a 6, and then we just change the wording for this and we turn it to something that targets a single creature. Okay? It might be as simple as we make an attack roll. It doesn't need to be a saving throw. But don't worry about that yet. I know we're jumping the gun a little bit. So let's go back to our table, look at challenge rating 8, and it says attack bonus is a 7. Okay? One of the things that I have found is you've got to be really careful about your attack bonus with your players. If you make your attack bonus less than theirs, the chances are you will never hit the target, because remember, characters' armor class will go up, monsters' armor class does not go up. And as they get more powerful, a level 8 character will probably have decent armor. They'll be wearing plate armor. So you screw with attack bonuses, it's a bad thing. Which means that whatever we do here, since our proficiency bonus is a 3, and we want an attack bonus of a plus 7, that either our strength or our dexterity, and we could use either one with an attack like that, should really be sitting at about a 4. So 18 roughly would be right number to go with. I would say strength would be the way to go if we want to have a low dex creature. Okay, a low dex creature is fine. We can have a low dex creature. We can still have it have natural armor, but you don't want to mess with that too much. This is one of those numbers that I almost never. Now, is the 7 plus 7 on a challenge rating 8 monster the right number to have? I want you to think about this. Almost every single character in 5e, when you start out at level 1, is going to have a +2 proficiency bonus and probably a +3 modifier for their main attack that they perform. That means a level 1 character has a +5 bonus to attack. +5, which makes this +3 at level 1 a nonsense. Okay? It means that they're almost never going to hit the target. So what happens at level 8? Well, at level 4, chances are that your proficiency bonus will go up. Correct? Proficiency bonuses go up. And also by level 8, your proficiency bonus is sitting at what? Is it even a 3? You'll find that most characters are doing pretty well at level 8. They have a proficiency bonus of 3, but their ability modifier is usually something like a 5. They will have maxed out their 16 and whatever it is, if it's intelligence or it's strength or dex, they'll turn that 16 into an 18 at level 4, unless they were foolish enough and took a feat. At level 8, it's going to be a +5 plus their 3, which means their attack bonus, most characters have an attack bonus of 8, and your monster is a +7. So is 7 enough? And I would say probably not. You probably want to push that a little bit higher. This table is somewhat useful, but there are some problems, and you really don't want to be messing. You would never want to go below a 7. I would definitely go 7, 8, 9 on this. Easy peasies. This is what sort of attack bonus you would want to have on your monster. You do not want to be going slower than that. Now, if I can I might do some cutting and pasting from D&D Beyond, just to make life a little bit easier for myself, which I don't generally do, but, you know, what's a suitable creature or monster that... Actually, I can just do the search thing, can't I? I can just go to the search function and go to monsters and just search in a monster and just drop it in here. And let's go dragon. Let's just go dragon. Pump out a dragon. Give me a dragon. What an adult dragon or something like that. Something that's just got some basic sort of attacks on it. And then we just copy and paste a few things over to make some adjustments. An adult dragon. Here we go. Basic rules. Okay, so first off, we have a peck or a bite. We've got our peck, and we'll just do this. I'm just going to copy this over very quickly so that you can see what I'm doing. Peck. Full stop. And then drop this in. Forget about the 12. We're going to make it an 8. Plus 8. I would go with that. Reach. It's got to have potentially a long neck. It might have a long neck. It might not. We might want to go with a 5 feet. One target. Let's go with 5 feet. No, actually, let's go with 10 feet. 10 feet's fine. It's a large creature. It's fine. Large 10. No, it's 5 feet's fine. 5 feet's fine. Let's go with that. One target. The damage thing, don't worry about the damage thing right now. It's not important. It's one of the least important things out of everything else that you're dealing with right now. Now, the same thing with your claw. Okay? Grab the claw attack. Grab this thing. Okay? Copy it. Take it over. And full stop. And then we just drop this in here. Paste. Without formatting. And then we'll get rid of the bolding. And again, change the claw to an 8. Yep. Reach, 5 feet. Does some damage. Don't worry about the damage right now. Okay. Next, going back to our quick reference. That's our, now, how much damage should it be doing per round? On average, it should be doing 51 to 56 points of damage. And most monsters don't do this. Seriously? You see this adult dragon here? This adult dragon here that we are working with is challenge rating 15. And if it has a breath weapon, which it does have a breath weapon. Okay, it's lightning. And it does 66 points of damage. A challenge rating 15 monster does, that's it. That's the average damage it's doing. That's the only thing it can do with its turn when it comes around to it, right? And yet you look at 15, and how much damage should it really be doing? Should be somewhere in the 93 to 98. Now you could say, but you're targeting more than one creature, and that does make a big difference. Okay, that does make a big difference. But if you combined all of the multi-attacks that it has here, you're never going to get anywhere near that. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take our damage output. Damage output can often go higher than 51 and 56 for this monster. You'll find that damage is one of those things that's very, very easy and accommodating because players can deal with it most of the time. So 51 to 56 damage output. So we need to be able to split that up somehow. Yep. And am I running out of time? I am. I haven't left myself enough time to get it all done, but let's just go here. Multi-attack. Copy. Break it up. No, break it up. Here we go. Paste. And drop that in. And multi-attack. Get rid of this. And we just go here. It makes 1 bite and 2 claws. So then we would split up now. So how do we split up that damage for this? Well, we can't do that until we get our other stats worked out. So let's just go here. Average damage. Oopsie, it's average damage. Damage. Round 51 to 56. So somehow between our peck and our claws, we need to be able to break that up in some way to make that work. Okay? So it's a peck. All right. Okay, next thing. Going down, let's have a look at something like a saving throw. Now the table on here, this table for level 8, okay, we've got a saving throw at the very end. That was the damage per round. That's the average. It says 16. I want you to think about what's your best chance of actually being successful. It's not the first digit. It's not the 16. It's the 6 that you need to focus on. Because really, on average, we're thinking about 50-50 chance of being successful. What is the DC likely that you would have at level 8? Think about how you calculate your DCs for your characters. Your character's DC, when they do something, is 8 plus their proficiency bonus. So 8 plus 3 in this case. It's the same as for the monster. Okay, so that's good. So 8, that makes it 11. And then we got to add our modifier for whatever it is. Always go with the best modifier rather than the weakest modifiers. I honestly find you're dealing with paladins in the party, they will make things a lot easier for you. So this is what I would do in this case. What is the expected proficiency modifier for your ability score? Your best ability score for your character is a +5. By the time you get to level 8, it's going to be a +5. You're going to probably have a 20 in there. So what you do is you go, okay, 5 plus that, and that's why we get 16. Does that make sense? So this means that this creature must have a 16 DC if we're going to have something that is going to do an area attack of some kind. That's how I would look at it. But we can make this a single target creature, or we can have a blast that comes out. And that kind of covers a lot of what we need to do. So yes, I just wanted to point that out to you if you were wondering how you might go about doing that. Bonus actions with a legendary creature is a waste of your time, so get rid of it. Reactions, again, if you have a legendary creature, your legendary monster or creature is going to get those sorts of things anyway, so get rid of that as well. As for it not having any legendary actions, nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. But how you structure them is really important. I'm just going to go here and copy and paste a couple of things across from chat, just very quickly. Those are really all the numbers that you need. Average damage, how much you're going to hit, what your DC is for whatever the heck it is, and really you're ready to go. You don't really need to do very much else other than that. So Norok has put in some stats. I'm going to push some of these stats up a little bit, okay, rather than leaving them as low as they are, because it's probably not going to be useful for the monster to have numbers as low as that. So strength, I'm going to make that 20. Okay, your dex, I'm fine with you having your dex at you said a 16. That's fine. Leave it at 16. The rest of it is going to be natural armor. Okay, 16. So we have a +5 there. Am I showing the right thing to you? No, I'm not. Just give me a second. I'll transfer over. I just want to transfer this information. Con 15. Really, I don't think it really matters too much. Con 15 on a monster is fine. 15. Okay. So con 15 just means you're going to have a modifier of 2. Yep. Your intelligence. We need to make our monster fairly intelligent. Remember, it's a curse that has been imposed on somebody, and they're still quite intelligent. So intelligent 12, 14 for wisdom, all good. The charisma is going to be down. Okay, great. No problems. Okay, so 5. And wisdom, you said 14 and 12. Okay, 14 and 12. 12 and 14. Okay, so going back to this. Once you have these numbers, essentially, you've got most of what you need. You really don't need very much else after that. Armor class, how many hit points roughly it's going to have. Pick something in between there is usually quite the easiest way to go. Okay, if you have the modifiers for all your ability scores, you can actually transfer that over into what your skills and your saving throws are going to be. Do you want it to be con or strength that it's going to be, really good at, or something else? Things like damage resistances and immunities are hard to feed into an equation like challenge rating, so I ignore them completely. Just don't even bother with them. Things like blind sight is not going to come into place, tremor sense, things. These can all be changed to fit your monster, okay? And we've got a few features we need to put in and include in here. And of course, there's still some things that need to happen. Now, with a monster that is a creature where you're going to have more than one attack going on, this is what I generally try to do. And I'm out of time, but I want to do this because I know I need to. I do not build monsters with that are legendary monsters that have only 3 actions. Don't do that. If you have a big group, they will crush your creature or monster with no trouble whatsoever. So don't muck around, okay? Don't screw around, I have 3 legendary actions bullshit. Don't do that, okay? Get rid of that sort of nonsense completely. Instead, what we want to do is we want to grab our Rochesaurus, okay? And this is how you should be structuring it so that it will actually be dangerous. The Rochesaurus can take a legendary action after every player's turn. This ensures that your monster will actually be exciting and does not stand there doing nothing for a long time. Remember, if you have a group of 7 players, then 3 legendary actions is not enough. Only 1 legendary action option can be used at a time and only at the end of another creature's turn. That's fine. So that's our reaction going on here. The Rochesaurus regains spent legendary actions at the start of its turn. So when it starts its next turn, that's when it gets them all back. So you need to make sure you use them all up. Okay, that's how you want to structure your monster in terms of this. This sort of nonsense here, like things like detect and so forth, are not great as features. They're really, really bad. Let's just grab this. I need to spend more time on this, and I'm not going to have time to do so, and I do apologize, people. But the lore was probably the most important thing. Monster maths is always something that you can kind of fiddle with later. So here, tail attack, forget about this sort of stuff. I mean, honestly, I don't know why we would bother. So peck or claw attack, and then you have your Rochesaurus make one of those. Those should always be there. There'll always be an option that you can use. You don't want to be messing with that. Okay, but you also want to be adding in some other things like your standard thing that you can do with your action, like dodge, disengage, things like that. They are often much more useful to have those there rather than something that's very specific, particularly dodge, because dodge will keep your monster alive a lot longer. Okay, and this here we're going to just go there. Get rid of this. I'll come back to that. I try not to build legendary actions that have a cost of more than more than one action. It's probably best not to have something like the wing attack going on myself. Okay, so there's still a lot to do on that monster for sure. I agree. But what we have done is we have at least given it the basic maths for it, and the rest it's just about sort of tinkering with, really. And in a very short space of time we've done that. I often find that I don't need to have any more than that. As long as I know what the attack bonus is and roughly how much damage it's going to do, how many hit points it has, what its armor class is, what its special abilities are doing, it's really not much more that you need. Anyway, I see you guys are jumping in and putting in all sorts of different things here. Yeah, I am definitely late for work, so I should go. So I will take off. I will try to work on this later on. But the more important thing is not the stat block itself. It's getting the lore right. If we get the lore right and AJ likes it, then he'll do a video and draw the monster. And that's what we really want. That's what we really want. Okay? Anyway, Rochasaurus. Huge thank you to everybody who took part in the poll today. Okay, and for watching and listening. I really do appreciate it when you take part in the poll. You watch and listen. I really want to thank those of you in chat who have been part of the building of the monster. So Fred Huber, thank you very much. Noroak, Derp, really appreciate you hanging out with us. We had Nacho Man here as well. Calrel, who else was hanging with us for a while here? I'm probably going to miss somebody and then I'm going to feel bad about it later on. But I think I've got roughly everybody who was throwing in numbers. Pale Rider, can't forget Pale Rider. Pale Rider's almost always here too as well. That's always cool. Yeah, so wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours, and hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.